Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Shinrin Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Monday, January 1st, around 11 a.m. Mountain Time 2024. We're ringing in the new year with a double boom, and that's why we have this early video. The strongest solar event of the solar cycle, a major X5.0 solar flare, was observed around AR 3536 last night. A CME is associated. Also, a magnitude 7.5 earthquake and tsunami warning strikes Japan. Happy New Year. It's gonna be a boom. Keep calm. It's boom time. Winter weather alerts have been issued for multiple states as snow tornadoes form in Alaska. Clipper system is spreading snow and wintry mix from the Great Lakes to the northeast through today, with winter weather finally arriving, perhaps in Boston. But there is a snow drought, and it's leaving the West Mountains high and dry. Take a look at the interactive snowpack map here. Just 2 basins above average and 1 approaching it. The rest of the basins in the West, all of them, except for 3, below average. So we need some snow, and the good news, snow is coming. There are going to be several systems that are going to be affecting the East Coast over the next week, and 2 systems dumping into the Pacific Northwest. And that means much needed moisture for the West. Take a look at the snowfall for Northern California and the Sierras just through midweek. Some light snow for the Central Appalachians, including snowshoe, and some lake effect snow. But the snow engines don't really turn on until this week. And here's Thursday, Friday, January 5th, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to January 8th and 9th. So by mid-January, we should be looking at some heavy totals in the east, the central, and the western U.S. as winter kicks in to high gear. A strong system impacting coastal Alaska, a wintry mix in the lower Great Lakes. A low-pressure system will continue to move through portions of Alaska today before weakening out. Strong winds, accumulating snow, and coastal impacts will remain possible through the day. Meanwhile, the lower Great Lakes and central Appalachians can expect a wintry mix to be on tap for New Year's Day. Very few warnings on the map. Happy New Year. Japan lowers its tsunami warning, but still tells people not to go home after a series of earthquakes. There were tsunami warnings issued after a major 7.5 Japan earthquake. The powerful earthquake struck the Noto Peninsula in Ishikawa Prefecture at 4:10 p.m. Monday, triggering tsunami warnings along Japan's western coast. And tsunamis were observed, I believe, up to 9.8 feet. So the quake, which had a depth of 6 miles, hit at 4:10 local time around 42 kilometers northeast of Amamizu in Ishikawa Prefecture. Several large aftershocks, including a 6.2 magnitude, occurred. Tsunami warnings were issued to residents of western Japan, and tsunami waves expected to be up to 3 meters or 9.8 feet or even 3.9 feet were reported in Wajima City, Japanese public broadcaster NKH said. In Toyama City and surrounding areas, waves of less than a meter were reported, while the city of Noto remained under tsunami warning. So there was damage. There was homes that collapsed. Obviously, you can see some damage here. Huge cracking in the road. But nearly 7 hours after the quake, the Japanese authorities appear to still be gathering information about injuries. Some injured people were taken to the hospital in Suza City and Ishikawa Prefecture, but we are waiting for more information. The damage is severe. There are there's some videos of cracking and huge drop downs there. Let's take a look at that. And over at our Twitter page, wow, look at that rupture. That is about a 3-foot drop down there. So a very severe earthquake happening in Japan, and we are waiting for injury reports. Seismic update. There we can see the quake with the numerous aftershocks. The main quake happening just on shore there, 7.5, right on the coast. and now all of the aftershocks spread out over a wide area. The most recent quake is in California, 4.1 in Rancho Palos Verdes. So we'll be keeping a close eye on seismicity, as there is also an uptick in Iceland at Bardabunga. And we are waiting for that baby to go. Here is the tsunami warnings and watchings for the coast. Obviously, the peninsula had the greatest watch, and then east and west of there, but that has since come to an end. Any tsunamis would have already hit by now. Now, the seismic swarm that produced more than 350 earthquakes during the past 2 days near Kilauea's summit has ended, which is good news because many people were worried because they remember the 1974 Southwest Rift Zone eruption. Here we can see pictures of that. December 31st, 1974, an eruption from the Southwest Rift Zone of Kilauea in the early morning hours was very devastating. And that doesn't appear to be happening anytime soon. Seismic update. No other volcanic eruptions of note. Normal activity. Popo to 22. Nevado de Ruiz to 22. Fuego to 15. Suanos Hima to 6,000 feet. Liwa Tobi, 8,000. Ibu to 10. Semeru to 15. Reventador, 14,000 foot. And Ducono, some powerful explosions today. That's about all the eruptions so far this year. Keeping a close eye on the Reykjanes Peninsula, slight uptick in low-level activity around 1 magnitude happening near that dike. When will the eruption happen? Maybe soon. Seismic tremor is elevated, but no eruption happening now. Now, ringing in the new year with a bang, or a boom, however you want to put it. This is now the strongest solar event of the current solar cycle. A major X5.0 was observed around AR 3536. There was a strong R3 level radio blackout, which affected Hawaii and not much else. Some areas of Indonesia, New Zealand, and eastern Australia. The good news is that this was on a sunspot that is just turning around the limb. Let's take a look at the current position of that sunspot as it develops. So we have a very large area which could have some complex magnetism, which will probably come to an end because of the Earth-facing quiet that we've been experiencing for 2 decades. There you can see that major X5. Some other minor flares, an M2.3 and M4.7, also lining up the list of notable flares. Now, there was a coronal mass ejection from this X flare, and it has been modeled by ISWA already, just showing a glancing blow, if any, coming on the 3rd, potentially. The WSA Enlil spiral has not been updated, and so we'll be keeping a close eye on this and looking for any new predictions of the solar wind that we can bring to you with great speed. But as of now, this large X flare is not going to create a large geomagnetic storm on Earth. What may happen is as this sunspot travels across the disk, it may become more Earth-facing and flare again, in which case we will be far more susceptible. There we can see from GOES X-ray flux the multiple here. We're going back into another solar flare right now. So the sun is quite active. And keep an eye on our Twitter for updates. Here we are over at SDO, and we're taking a look. Where are we at? 131 angstroms. We will show you, in fact, keep an eye on the limb here, and we will watch that solar flare happen. So you can see the active region turning around the limb here, and it starts to get a little jiggy. Some small flares. And let's see if we... Boom! And there's the X flare. And let's see if we can see some of those subsequent M flares there and there. Okay. So that was the sequence of events going from that major X flare. Take a look at that. Boom! And there's your X. X marks the spot. X5.0. And so we're going to keep a close eye on this active region as it is looking quite active. Now, have you heard COVID mask mandates are returning to hospitals in 5 states? Well, what did you expect? It's an election year. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video and stay tuned to our Twitter feed at Diamond the Day for updates on the X5.0 and the M7.5 earthquake. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Happy New Year. We wish each and every one of you a new start and a wonderful new year.